Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Trauma Research Foundation's TRF Tuesday. It's our mini experiential workshop series from various voices in therapeutic embodiment. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the TRF channel. It lets YouTube know that you find this content valuable, and then they'll show it to more people. So thanks for joining us for Sexual Grief. Bring the mind and body into sync with hostage negotiation techniques. Today's the last session in this series, and it's entitled Mind and Body Dancing in Sync. Identify and name your warning label. I'm so pleased to introduce you to our facilitator. Edy Nathan is a thought leader and certified sex therapist specializing in trauma and grief. She works with businesses, universities, and long-term care homes to help people understand how these areas filter through their lives and affect everything from creativity to productivity. Working together, she offers creative ways to deal with grief, trauma, and sexuality. Edy, we're so happy to have you.
It's so good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Take it away.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. Welcome from wherever in the world you happen to be. I'm in Massachusetts in the Berkshires, and it's a day that is great to be doing this kind of work. I think of that as every day. But I thought that what we'd start with, as I do every time we meet, is a definition of how I'm referring to sexual grief, what it means. And I just want you to know that if there's anything that I suggest here today, that if it doesn't feel safe to you, or if you want to postpone it, or you just feel like it's overwhelming, don't do it. I want you to take care of you throughout this entire process. There's going to be things that I'm going to suggest you write them down if you feel comfortable enough to do so. If not, then please keep yourself safe no matter what. Okay. So there are terms that I'm going to bring up, and one of those terms is sexual grief. And one of those terms really has to do with what is a hostage, and then the strategy, the last strategy, but also a culmination of all of the strategies and how we're going to really work to bring the mind and the body back into sync throughout this whole time we've got together. And I'm really excited. So sexual grief it's a natural response to an unnatural sexually traumatic event. Now, it can form a kinship with sexually traumatic events that include abuses, violence, but also menopause, aging, ED, being an unwanted child, a bad period story, or a first adolescent sexual experience that went awry. Sexual grief forms a kinship with these experiences and can affect you in your life, can affect the way you respond to intimacy, can affect the way you interact at work, with friends, and even with the self. So today we're going to talk about bringing the mind and the body back into sync. And we're also going to just review the strategies that I've talked about, and then zero in on the last strategy for today. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to roll your shoulders, because this can be like a pretty heavy topic, right? And I just want you to breathe in as you roll up and to breathe out as you roll down. And I want you to imagine that the tension, if there is tension in your shoulders, that's where I hold my tension. If there is tension, just imagine a release. Now, I'm not going to assume that I know where you hold your tension. So if the shoulders aren't it, then find the place in your body where there is tension. Maybe it's your belly, and you want to just hold your belly and let it go, and hold your belly and let it go, and hold your belly and let it go. Either way, in whatever capacity and in whatever way you hold the tension, this is about releasing, just releasing and listening, just listening. Now, that tension can hold you in ways that you don't want to be held. So now let's put that idea of how you're held to a stronger sense here, which is that sense, that sexual grief, and the kinship it holds with our experiences that can keep us down, that it holds us hostage. It's kind of like sexual grief can be a hostage taker. And someone said you can also become your own hostage taker. Sometimes we can be. So a hostage is someone who's taken as a prisoner by an enemy or by something that is unwanted, and it makes you feel like you can't get out, scared, and certainly feeling out of sync. You might just want to take a moment and write that down. Just take a moment and write it down. You're taken as a prisoner by an enemy. And there can be lots of ways that an enemy comes into your life, right? That enemy, though, can make your mind and your body feel like they are out of sync. So, what is it to be back in sync? So, part of becoming a negotiator is having certain words of ownership. So what we're going to do right now, and I want you to write down these 4 statements. The first statement is I am. The second statement is I deserve. The third statement is I want. And the fourth statement is I can. Okay. And now I want you to imagine who your hostage taker is. And you're facing your hostage taker, and it's not for me to tell you who or what that hostage taker is. I'm calling it sexual grief, but it can be however you identify it. Okay? So now we're going to physicalize this. Okay? So first it's I am, and I want you to take your hands and make a fist, and I want you to say, I am. I am. I am. That's right. And I want you to feel the experience of your hands having ownership of I am. And now I'd like you to finish the sentence. This is for you, right? So I am powerful. I am a superhero. I am a survivalist. And you're speaking to the hostage taker. That's right. Now the next is I deserve. Okay. And I deserve looks like this. I deserve. I deserve. And it's love. And it's care. And you're saying to the hostage taker, I deserve. You breathe into it, and I want you to almost imagine that you're moving with it. It's like a lullaby. I deserve. It's not angry, but it's potent. And take a breath in and feel how that hug was experienced by you, and release it. And now fill in that sentence. I deserve to be happy. I deserve not to be held hostage. hostage. I deserve to be free. I deserve to have a voice. Okay? Now you fill that in for yourself because you are talking to the hostage taker and you're bringing your mind and your body in sync with ownership. It is the ownership of behavior change, because hostage takers don't want you to say, I am or I deserve. They want you to feel trapped. You're not going to allow your mind and your body to feel that anymore with these statements of ownership. That's right. Okay, now I want, and I want you to imagine like you're holding the world. I want, and I want you to just feel the joy and the acknowledgement of I want, and it's okay to want. I want to be free. I want to dream. I want to know who I am and own it. I want. And taking a breath, and again, feel how the arms come down. Feel that. And now, this might be a little awkward, and I'm not going to stand because of where my camera is, but maybe if you want, you certainly can choose to stand if you can. And it is, I can. And you're like stomping your feet, but not like rebellious, but it's like ownership. I can. I can. I can. I can do this. I can be the fighter. I can free myself. I can imagine a life that is open and free and is not filled with imprisonment. I can dream it. I can enact it. Whew. I don't know about you, but my body is vibrating. And there is a sense that it's somewhat in sync to what we just did, to the words, to the verbalization of a theme of breaking the hold the hostage taker has on you. Because you had an ownership of I am, I deserve, I want, and I can. There's so many different ways that you can do this exercise, that you can embody it. But what are you saying to yourself when you say, I can? And what are you saying to the hostage taker when you say, I can? Because the last two strategies of any hostage negotiation is behavior change. It's influence. It's being able to influence behavior change. That takes ownership. And I know you can do this. And again, I want you to come back right now into your body. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Now, if you can, I want you to take note. What do you notice? How is your breath? Is there anything that you need right now? Do you need water? Do you need to just take a moment and close your eyes? Because all of these are perfect choices. There's no bad choice. As long as it's safe and it feels as if you are taking care of you. And that's your choice every single day. How you are going to take care of you. Okay, so just take a moment now. That's right. Take a moment. That's exactly right. So now, we're going to talk about the warning labels. Now, warning labels come in many, many different flavors, okay? And there are warning labels to keep you safe. There are warning labels that change your behavior. And there might be warning labels that change someone else's behavior, but they're your warning labels. So, sorry, I keep losing my earbud here. Okay, so let's talk about the shutdown warning label. The shutdown warning label, it's like leave me alone. But I want you to think about when you might be in shutdown mode, when perhaps that sexual grief, you're having, you're feeling like you're ambushed by it. You're feeling like you're ambushed by a memory or the pain that's coming into your world, into your sphere. Maybe it's a flashback. Maybe somebody's just walked by whose perfume reminds you of something that you'd prefer not to remember. Or maybe you're on a date and your body is feeling just out wonky, or your mind is feeling wonky. And you have the warning label. Well, knowing, oh, okay, so this is my shutdown warning label. And I'm going to give you an example of the shutdown warning label. I'm broken and don't get too close. Or breaking glass, be careful. And though you might say it just to yourself, it might help you to find the words for self-protection when you're feeling overwhelmed, when it's feeling like it's just too much, whatever is going on for you, either because of a pop in memory or because you're in a situation that just doesn't feel good. I want you to know that you can access that warning label, and you might actually have a collection of warning labels. I do. I often tell my people, my peeps, my clients, keep your warning labels, in your pocket so you can access them when necessary or when you need them, or even just as a reminder when something is feeling a little off. Because sometimes when our minds are feeling jagged, we can't necessarily get to those warning labels quickly. But if we have them in our phones or in a notebook that we carry, we can access them. And it actually shifts the sense of being held hostage. And you are entering into those last strategies of a behavior shift, a behavior change. And you are the influencer to herald that change. Now, let's talk about the family warning label, okay? And I'm talking about this because the sexual grief may be family related. It may be because of something that happened as a kid. And again, it's not just about the abuses. It could be something that happened as you were growing up, knowing that you were not a wanted child, or knowing that, that family house brings back memories of adolescent stuff. It doesn't have to do with the people who raised you or even the siblings, but it might just be environmental. And so a familial warning label is for you. And it might be, I need to be mindful of my bedroom. So don't go into my bedroom. Don't go into your bedroom because that's not safe. And that's a warning label for you. Don't go into that room because it's not safe. Don't get too close to Aunt whomever because her perfume reminds me of. So these are warning labels for you. Okay. And now there's the healthy boundary warning label, which is if I look away, it means it's too much, and that's okay. If I look away, it means things are too much, and that's okay. And that might be something that you could share with someone. I'm looking away right now because what I'm feeling or what I'm experiencing is too much. and imagine looking away and putting movement to it. That's right. The whole idea here is to be unbound. The whole idea here is to feel a freedom like you've never felt before. That's exactly right. So there's one other piece here, and I want you to think about how you know you've had some successful negotiations with the sexual grief, and that you may not be as much of a hostage as you once were within certain areas. So I want you to write down your successes, and I want you to own them. And as you're writing them down, I want to give you some success stories that let you know you've been freed from being held hostage. Okay. I didn't react when the door creaked. That's one. 2, when inadvertently touched, I remained calm and present. 3, when I smelled the cologne, I actually stayed in my body. Whew, that's great. And I'm choosing not to be held hostage anymore. And this last one, when you start to feel like you're being held hostage, this is an exercise that we did, I think, in the second meeting. And I want you to put your hands together, and I want you to really hold them tight and hold them tight. And I want you to just feel the pressure of one hand on top of the other, because that's the fusion, and it doesn't feel good and it's hard. And then I want you to break away from it. And breathe and shake it out. And shake it out and move your legs. That's right. And stomp your legs. That's right. That's exactly right. Stomp them, stomp them, stomp them. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, feel. When you can feel the electricity in your body, your body is in sync, and it's not a hostage situation. Rather, it's inviting you to be alive. It's inviting you to be in sync with your breathing, with your body, and with all the parts of you that want to be free. You can ask those parts what they need at any given time. And you might, just as a reminder, have a box that you put all of your requests from your body and from your mind. You put the requests in there of the attention that they're needing. And then be curious, create empathy, develop that rapport. That's right. Engage by breaking the bond, and then welcome whatever behavior changes are being offered to you. Thank you so much for being here with me. I can't wait to hear your comments. And please know you can always get in touch with me via my website, edynathan.com. Thank you, everyone.
That was great. I was stomping my feet and moving. That was really great. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're going to invite anybody who has comment or question. They can drop it in the chat and we'll read them for you. I'll start out with one of my own. Hey, it's been such a great 5 weeks. I want to know sort of what your takeaway would be for like if you would sum it up for everybody with something to take home with them, what would that be?
So what we know is that fear can keep us from doing the work that we want to do, and that we are secret holders, and we're really good at being secret holders. And when you start to reveal the secrets to yourself, then you begin the process of being free in a way that you never thought you'd be free. So what we know is that anxiety is very, very mixed up with anger. And if you can find ways to release some of the anger at the hostage taker, that your anxiety will dissipate.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Wow, that's great.
So, yeah.
Give everybody another minute or two if they want to drop anything in the chat. You're welcome to. That's the
I
only
would
question
love to
I have.
hear any questions you might have, anything that happened to you during this time that that maybe you want to take home with you literally and use.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. There was a comment earlier that after traumatic events, it's not so easy to say, I can.
Yeah. And the hostage taker knows this. So beginning to even think about I can begins to break the spell that the hostage taker has on you. And you're so right. It's hard.
Great point. Great point.
I deserve. Yeah, I deserve. And that's another thing, you can make cue cards out of these 4 pieces. I am, I deserve, I want, and I can. And, I'm a big one for metaphor and symbol. And I love the story of the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And eventually they make it. And it's like, I believe in the process of tangling with the parts of us that keep us stuck.
Mm-hmm. I've posted Edy's sexual grief book journey link in the chat for anyone that would like to see where Edy is in her process.
I have a question. So if, let's say you have a friend or a partner or somebody who you think would benefit from what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, what do you think a good way to sort of broach that and introduce them to these concepts would be?
It's a very tricky situation because you don't want to step on someone's toes. And if they think that you are seeing something that they have not yet seen or feel or know, it can feel overwhelming. It can certainly be overwhelming. So you want to certainly go lightly. And instead of saying sexual grief, you could certainly say something like, wow, sometimes the way you speak makes me think that you feel imprisoned by your experiences. And that imprisonment sounds really, really hard.
That's really
Someone
useful.
saying, sorry, go ahead.
It's really useful. Feeling imprisoned.
Yeah.
I like that framing, actually. Yeah, thanks.
Because it's not going into it's not supporting the victim. It's actually it's really supporting. I try not to use survivor because it has so many connotations, but I love survivalist, and I call myself a survivalist. It's like, you're naked. There's that show, Naked and Afraid, and it's like this stuff, like, it's like you're bearing all to yourself, and it's really scary. And to have somebody hold you and witness that fear, that you don't know how you're going to get out of the forest, and you don't know how you're going to find yourself or retrieve yourself or reclaim yourself so that you can have a healing and a sexual freedom that spans all of life. Because when we're not sexually free, when we are always guarded because of our pain, it affects everything. Not just how we are intimate with another, but how we are intimate with the self. There was a comment here by Anne. And thank you, Anne. Yes, it's exactly right. To whatever you feel in your body. Thank you so much. Also love the merging and breakaway handhold at end was powerful. Yeah. It's a reminder that you can, even if you create a fusion, that you can actually defuse. You can actually embody it. And not to forget that you've got the power to do that. I didn't do that for you. You did it for you. Yeah.
Well, Edy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. This has been such an enlightening series. We really thank you. We were so happy to have you and to get some familiarity with this work. Thanks so much to our audience for joining us. Please share TRF Tuesday with everyone you know. You can find all of the past sessions of this series and all of our previous series in the TRF Tuesday library on our website. We'll see you the next time. And until then, be well, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.